Good evening, everyone. Mazazoke here speaking to us. Today being Monday, the 18th of October 2021. How are we doing all today? Today we are going to be looking at something interesting. And without wasting much time, I will just say good evening once more to everyone and welcome to Njenge Media TV. I am still Mazazoke. This evening we will be looking at the allegation by the Wall Street Journal that the Nigerian government paid bandits not to shoot down Buhari's aircraft. As usual, Nigeria Air Force came out, denied that any payment was made. And in another video, we saw the VP to, or rather, VP to MKO Abiola, Babagana KingIbe, who actually said that the Nigerian unity is, not negotiable. Again, you might wonder where is it coming from. It appears everything is now um, falling out against them. So everyone is waking up because for the first time, Nigerians are unequivocally saying, "Now let us break the damn nation." If you do not want to listen to us, if you do not want to give people the autonomy that they need, because majority of the people are actually saying if there was any need to go back to 1963 arrangement where regions were like nations, independent nation on their own. Remember when in the First Republic you had the premier of the Western region in the person of the late sage Awolowo, who at that point the Western region was able to build their own television station. They had their own representatives across the world. So things were basically not the as bad as it were is as it is today. So we would review and talk about all these things. Now, I would conclude with a very another story that is that not many Nigerians are paying attention, and that I would urge us all to pay attention to. This is a story regarding President Muhammadu Buhari and versus Atiku, where this case is said to be heard February 22nd, 2022. Now, people are scared, thinking, is it a ploy? Is it a plan by the North to stay in power beyond? Imagine, think about this. Think about this. Everyone will be saying, okay, 2023, the Buhari will go, blah, blah, blah. But imagine, it comes next year, they say, oh, okay, the court sacks Buhari and hands over power to Atiku. Invariably, are you thinking now? Let's someone is saying what is Bubu? Bubu is Bubu is another name for Buhari. Anyway, if some people call him Bubu, you should understand that. So let's quickly start. You know, obviously, many of you joining me. It would be nice to know where you're watching me from. Which part of the world are you watching me from? Let's get busy. Today, we will be taking polls. For those of you who are watching from Njinji Media on YouTube, we will be taking polls today. And it's very simple. You just click yes, no, this. It's going to be interactive section. But let's quickly get rolling. So like I said, if I know where you're watching from, that will be very good to know where you're watching from. I have Fabio Ifedici, so watching from If Ifedice, watching from Mozambique. Thank you. Okay, I remember Mozambique. We normally call it while we were growing up Mozambique. Uche Udeze is watching from Cyprus. Lagos, Nigeria, watching Ginger Media on YouTube. Thank you very much. Much appreciate that. Wow, Copenhagen. So it appears whenever I do late night shows, I do late night shows for many of you in Europe. It appears so. So why is it so? I have Ozemena watching from Copenhagen. Oh, Copenhagen is good. I love it. They have, I call them dwarf houses, like England houses. Um, Watching from Benin Republic. Wow. Have you gone to visit Iboho? Christian Etuka? You're in Benin Republic, so go and see Iboho in where they are keeping him. Odufua, Oluwasun, Oluwaseun. Thank you very much. Oluwaseun is watching from Ghana. And Ume Jude is watching from Anambra State. Wow. So, how is Anambra State today? I hope the madness happening has died down. No one was shot today. So, I have Maria Nguyen from Vietnam and Innocent from Nigeria. Bahamas. Wow, best. So, people, let's get the ball rolling. Thank you all for watching and for being part of this program this evening. So, let me quickly start with this. Now, there's this article. Let me go through the article, then I'll get the Arise team to probably come in and help us do some analysis as well. Now, if I go through this article with us here, the world, let me quickly share my screen so that many of you would understand what I'm talking about here. Um, Pardon me, just one moment, quickly. Okay, let me get this out of the way. So, let me quickly share my screen. And my screen is as follows. Okay, so this is the article in question here. Now, Nigerian gangs raised millions by kidnapping children. Now, government can't stop them. This is, again, you see here, this is the Wall Street Journal. Okay, the Wall Street Journal. Now, one thing I found interesting in this article is the following: criminal gangs flush with ransom money are growing more brazen, stealing heavy munitions and extorting the government. Think for yourself for once. These ragtag children, these ragtag youngsters who have absolute no formal training would go and overrun the Nigerian army. Let me make this bigger, maybe, yeah. So these people, can you imagine that they would overrun the Nigerian army and go and take ammunitions from the Nigerian army, right? Now, and this article apparently was written from Gusau, and it says the masked men emerged from the forest on motorbikes, surrounding a young intelligence officer clutching a cash filled bag. The ransom, nearly $50,000. $50,000. Again, I repeat, $50,000 encrypts Nigerian notes, banknotes, wasn't for a person, but to retrieve a weapon that directly threatens the country's president. And in this case, for those of you asking, what do I mean by Bubu? Bubu is Buhari. Now, and they say that this ammunition threatens Buhari. According to Wall Street Journal, then DSS take note. This is not from me. I'm reading from Wall Street Journal. It says, again, I'll highlight this. A kidnapping gang encamped in Nigerians Rugu Forest had seized an anti aircraft gun in a clash with a military unit. That posed a threat to President Muhammadu Buhari, who had been planning to fly to his own hometown about 80 miles away, and the government needs to buy it back. Okay, people, stop for a moment. Let's engage our brains here. Let's engage our brains a little bit here. The Nigerian army lost and anti aircraft missile equipment. Now, if you read it without thinking deep, you think, oh, yeah, maybe they were careless. But hey, before you start thinking about that, think about this first. What was Army, Nigerian Air Force doing with anti-aircraft missile with a people that only have ground troops like them? Boko Haram had no airplane to fly with. So what were they doing to fighting Boko Haram in the forest with an anti-aircraft? Do you use anti-aircraft for human shooting? Do you use it, or are Boko Harams now flying angels? Are they have they learned something from the Benin Kingdom that they can now fly at night? These things doesn't make sense. So my critical thinking here, the alarm bell begins to ring. The first instance is to say, hold on, people, what are you talking about? How did they even go into fighting the enemy with these equipment? How did that happen? That is the first question that should get us, in asking question. Okay, so if we continue here, people, let's quickly do that. If we continue, so we will now say an hour. Okay, sorry, an hour later. Let me continue here. It says an hour later, the officer who declined to be identified, meaning that officer knew what they were doing and he declined to be identified, was grasping hands with a leader of a diffused network of criminal whose camp of kidnapping civilians, including hundreds of school children, has raised millions of dollars to buy an arsenal of heavy weaponry they use to to, wrest control of swath of North, including the president's hometown. I don't know, reading this, and all this thing is about Castina. If the president is incapable of bringing peace to Castina, if the president is incapable of even securing his own state of Castina, I don't know your state how capable he is to secure your state, because he is the commander in chief of all the armed forces. Over the tea, the military leader agreed to part with the truck mounted 12.7 caliber anti-aircraft gun in exchange for the ransom. His men had plenty more munitions, he said. Okay? Anti-aircraft. Anti-aircraft. These were things that no one would ever think it will happen. I find it so curious that the Nigerian army, the Nigerian Air Force can actually go to the battlefield with an equipment, unless I understand absolute nothing in military combat and how military equip themselves. Maybe I'm a novice that I logic does not make any sense here. But if not, if logic is anything to go by, I will be thinking, I don't know why you will be going into farm to plant maize and you're going with lawnmower. I don't know why you'll be doing that. I don't know why you should be going into writing an exam for your literature and you're going in with a compass, with your measuring tape. I don't know if you're going to measure the distance from your house to the literature hall. I don't know, because like I said before, it does not make sense. However, I'm not alone in this fight or in this argument or again in this conversation. Let me quickly get the Arise team in. So let's see what they also have to say regarding this.
In what's trending with reactions trailing the Wall Street Journal report alleging that the Nigerian Air Force paid Bandits 20 million naira in exchange for an anti-aircraft gun, which the Nigerian Air Force has since denied. The Wall Street Journal had reported that the anti-aircraft gun was stolen by the Bandits after a clash with a military unit in Ragu Forest in Katsina State.
Listen, you see, Nigeria, people, you guys, we need to open our eyes. You can see how big that aircraft was. What were they using it for? Anti-aircraft, something up there. no one is aware that the Boko Haram, the bandits, that they have acquired, you know, something to shoot down, or rather that they now fly overhead.
According to the newspaper, the gun posed a threat to President Muhammadu Buhari, who was flying to his hometown about 80 miles away. The Air Force described the report as an utterly illogical allegation.
You see? Now, in the words of Fela and Nicola Bokuti, what you will hear, you be thief, I no be thief, you be robber, I no be robber, argument about stealing, this one I go column, argument about aircraft, anti-aircraft equipment. They steal them, though no, they no steal them. We pay them, we no pay them. You see, that is how he rose. That's government for you.
And claimed that it could be part of a campaign to further cause insecurity in Nigeria. Well, let's take a reaction from Rolla, who wrote, "The only problem is that when you have a pattern of denying stories, only to accept them later, then it becomes difficult to accept the denial at face value. Credibility is an asset to be protected." Rufai, I'm coming to you on this story because I'm not sure you've had a chance to comment on this story. But I just wanted to tie in this allegation to the current UN report, because I just feel like it's all the same, where they said 500,000 Nigerians are at the brink of starvation. I mean, I just wanted to talk about, I believe that the report is detailed. I know that the Nigerian Air Force has denied some of the allegations, but I just feel like some of those other allegations cannot be denied.
So concerning the UN report, I think the number is even more, based on the insurgents that has gone on for over 10 years, people displaced. Internally displaced people in this country keep increasing by the day. Two things we can't take away from that Wall Street Journal report, even if the military has rebuffed it and refused it, is the fact that you have a lot of arms and ammunition in the hands of non-state actors, number one.
That's simple.
All right? Secondly, there are reports and intelligence reports on ground that non-state actors have more arms, probably, than what the state will have. And I'll make references to, I think, Dr. Kabir. He normally comes here and he talks about armed proliferation, and the number of arms swapping in this area is really big deal. Third thing we must have to say is that even if these allegations of paying 20 million, are we saying that the bandits or the terrorists, let's call them what they are, don't still have more anti-aircraft missiles? Because they said they have more there. And we have seen cases where planes have come down in this country.
Exactly.
All right? We have seen attacks. You remember the plane that came down the other time?
Yes.
That the pilot died on the plane. You remember the other time also that we had the mishap, that another plane came down, that the pilot escaped to tell the story.
Yes.
So one thing is certain, these terrorists have capacity to shoot down planes in this country. I think you can't deny all those facts. Even if you are denying, the 20 million, you can't deny those facts. Then the question is, how do we go in and fight them out and stop them from carrying continuous actions? Because if they have these anti-aircraft guns, it's not safe for anybody in this country. And that's why, as the military has efforts going on in the Northeast, they should intensify it. They came out last week to say al-Banawi was dead as a result of their actions in the Northeast.
Yes.
We want to see more action. We want to see an end to this war once and for all. And these terrorists must not continue. We cannot deny the fact that these terrorists have highly sophisticated weapons, and that's why banditry, kidnapping, and everything has continued in that area.
Absolutely.
And it's scary.
Well said, Rufai.
Very, very
Do a quick
scary.
comment
Very,
from you.
very
Because we discussed it twice on the show, but yes, just to add, Wall
Very,
Street
very
Journal
scary.
is massively influential. Yes, they were criticized when Trump was president, I'm sure you recall, but they do shape opinion. That newspaper shapes opinion, and it shapes policy. If this is how they're framing Nigeria, we ought to be concerned.
Right.
And earlier I called for an investigation. I don't think it goes far enough for the Air Force to say we're denying it, no matter how vehement that denial is. There must be an investigation, because the Western media is not always right. There have been times that they were wrong. Let's make sure that this is one of those times. But beyond that, this story that you shared just now about the missionaries who were kidnapped in Haiti, you now have gangs as the second highest employer in Haiti after the government. Is this where we are heading? It's very concerning.
It's the same in
Are we not there already?
It's so bad.
Are we not there already?
A couple of months ago that detailed that
bad.
it is becoming a very lucrative business. Dr. Abati, I'll take another story. Over the weekend, the statement made by Babagana KingIbe, former secretary to the government of the Federation, in which he said the unity of Nigeria is negotiable, garnered mixed reactions. While receiving a Lifetime Achievement Award at the Sun Newspaper Awards ceremony, KingIbe used the relationship between couples as an example. He explained that once a party is trying to opt out of a union, he or she must consider the pros and cons of his or her choice before making a final decision. Let's take a quick listen before we come back for a discussion.
I was born in Nigeria. I was groomed in Nigeria. And I believe in Nigeria. People of my generation believe in Nigeria. We have no doubt about the fact that we have no option but Nigeria. However, I think a few of my colleagues believe that there's no such thing as the unity of Nigeria is not negotiable. Of course it is negotiable.
Sorry, before we continue with this, I want every one of you who is watching on Ginger Media TV on YouTube, can you come out of the chat section? Look at the poll there. There is a poll there. And that poll in that place says clearly, if you look at the poll, it says, do you believe the government or do you think that the government is lying? So quickly cast your poll there. So because all these things, then when we write opinion piece, we can have something that we will cite that according to people, then we will know how many people actually participated in this poll. So if you are on Njenge Media TV, watching on YouTube, quickly do that poll. That poll, 13 people have done that. Oh, Jesus Christ. Now the poll says, do you think government is lying on not paying bandits? And 22 of you, everyone says yes, they are lying. And only one person says no, they are telling the truth. Okay, so while this is ongoing, I want you, if you're watching live, if you can still go and cast your poll. Use the same time as cast your poll. Use the same time. If you haven't subscribed to this platform, please do. If you have, please also like this stream. So let's go back to the unity of Nigeria. Like as if Babagana KingIbe has been listening to me, all the time, because that's what I keep saying. The Nigerian unity is like a marriage. If your wife, your girlfriend, your fiancé, whatever, is not happy with you, you do not just wake up and start smacking the individual. Imagine you go to bed, normal, hot couple, and you wake up in the morning and your wife calls you, your partner, whatever, says, especially when they call you by your first name, the respect is almost gone out of the window. And they said, no, I don't think this relationship is working out. Can we divorce? You don't just go say, you're a terrorist. Then why? Because you said, let us divorce. Wouldn't you want to find out why is the person who agreed to marry you ab initio? Because at the end of the day, those you call agitators today were once patriotic Nigerians. And the sad part is that no one is paying attention to understand when did they change and at what point did they change and what changed them. Is there any concession that we could give? Is there any concession that, is there any middle ground? No, but rather than to do that, no, because we're all still suffering from the military mentality. So the only thing you do, you start smacking people. But here is Babagana KingIbe for the first time talking in this manner. So let me allow him, say these things again, for every one of us to hear. Now, if you're watching, if you're watching on YouTube, sorry, on Facebook, and you want to take part, we can't do multi-channel poll. This is specifically for Facebook, for YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook and you want to come onto YouTube to watch, you can actually come to YouTube. Just Google in Ginger Media, you see that we are live, and you can join us, and let's have this fun and discuss this thing intelligently.
I was groomed in Nigeria, and I believe in Nigeria. People of my generation believe in Nigeria. We have no doubt about the fact that we have no option but Nigeria. However, I think a few of my colleagues believe that there's no such thing as the unity of Nigeria is not negotiable. Of course it is negotiable. Even the unity of a family is negotiable. Even the coexistence as a couple of a husband and wife is negotiable. The moment either party feels that this union is no longer bearable, that he or she would rather go his own way, you let them have the right to sit down, consider their condition, and after, and only after, very, very, very careful, rational examination of the pros and cons of going out of the marriage, that they take the decision which suits them best. It's not enough just to say, I don't feel comfortable where I am, so I'm going. Are you sure of where you are going? Are you sure of the consequence of where you're going?
Oh, Dr. Basi, over to you.
Guys, wait, hold on. Before over to anybody. You see, for many of you who are asking who is Babagana KingIbe, Babagana KingIbe, GCON, I believe, is a Nigerian diplomat. He's a politician. And obviously, he has held so many posts in Nigeria, basically. It's, at some point, he was the secretary to the government of the Federation in 2007 to 2008, where he spent over a decade in foreign services and, in politics. And, he's been there. In 1993, that is where he gets interest. In 1993, he was the vice presidential running mate, as I said at the beginning, to Chief Moshood Abiola. Sadly, that election was annulled. Now, for those of you who want to know where he came from, he is, I would say he is from Medugri. Okay, so that is born in, he was born in Medugri, so to say. Now, having cleared that, at least you know where he's coming from. You understand who Babagana KingIbe is. Let's now get into the nitty-gritty of what he then said. I personally agree with him that you should, when somebody says he wants to do something, of course, obviously, allow the individual. But I feel slightly somehow when you are telling me, well, you don't know how the other place that you wish to go will be like. Sorry, it's none of your freaking business. So with due respect, sir, it's none of your freaking business. The moment you do not allow that we have this genuine conversation, whether we want to leave or you want to make some amendments, then it doesn't matter if I'm going to go to the other side and die. Then, sorry, let me die in peace. That's what it simple means.
Your analysis on this topic.
Okay, I mean,
Thought you
I
spoke
think
well.
this is self-explanatory.
Yes.
Ambassador Babagana KingIbe has been right at the center of Nigerian politics, so he has an idea of what he's talking about.
So, sorry. Okay, if you haven't voted for the first question, kindly do vote now. In the next couple of minutes, we will be bringing in the second question this evening, which will come up in the poll. The second question will be, do you, or rather, what do you want for Nigeria? Restructure Nigeria into ethnic nationalities or disintegrate Nigeria into various nations? Very critical questions this evening. So, if you haven't voted, kindly go and vote, because I want you, after voting, to be very, very happy, like my good friend who, after voting, was happiness more.
All right. Have you voted?
I'm voted, yeah.
Okay, so
I'm happiness, I'm voted, yeah.
tell me your feeling after voting today.
Yeah, after voting, I'm feeling okay. What I want, I get it on the result. I'm getting the party I want is the one going on. Thank you for that.
What are you expecting from these people you voted?
I'm voted, they can do what you want, and then when they want, what they want, inshallah, we're happiness more.
So, it's good. You go to Zanza Media, you go vote. If you finish vote, inshallah, you go happiness more, say go Benny. You go happiness more, because you want to make it the right refat. If it the right my refat, I will tell you everybody, the refat is the come from the vote people for EJJ Media. You don't vote. Say you know want in Nigeria, gaskiya, or the people you don't vote. You say Kagani, if the government restructure, good. So make it a go, but so talk. Say go Benny.
He was running mate to Chief MKO Abiola in the 1993 presidential election. He's been minister at various times, Minister of Internal Affairs, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Minister of Power and Steel. He's been Nigerian ambassador to a number of countries, including neighboring Chad. He's been secretary to the government of the Federation. So when he says it is Nigeria that has made him who he is, yes, he's very right in that regard, because he's been a key member of the governance and political process in Nigeria. However, the contentious part of the discourse has to do with Section 2, Subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution. In Section 2, Subsection 1, the Constitution says very clearly that Nigeria should be an indivisible, indissoluble entity. In other words, the Constitution gives the impression that you can't divide Nigeria, you can't dissolve.
That's and fella. Sorry again, Dr. Abati. I'm not taking a jab at you now, but honestly, that section of the Constitution, I will only allow fella to respond to such nonsense. If fella will call it, like he said in The Beast of No Nation, he will say it's animal talk. Now, animal talk will be that. Indissoluble my foot, indivisible. Is he not divided already? And anyway, calm down. Let's continue, because that's absolute nonsense.
Of Nigeria. In Section 1, Subsection 3 of the same Constitution, it says that any other move or law enactment that is against the provisions of this Constitution is to the extent of its inconsistency null and void. However, some people say that 1999 Constitution cannot dictate the future of Nigeria. Some people argue, and in this regard, I think Ambassador KingIbe was referring to members of his generation who think that, yes, you can negotiate Nigeria, that Nigeria is not cast in stone, in the sense in which what some people refer to as Decree 29 of 1998, that's how some people refer to the Nigerian Constitution, and that there can be disagreements, but you come together, you discuss. You use the word mutual respect.
Yes.
You negotiate, and then on the basis of it, you can reach an agreement. But I don't think that the import of what he's saying is about dissolving Nigeria or people can go. In fact, it was more on the side of Nigeria staying together, but that there should be opportunity for negotiation, for discussion, based on mutual respect. And that if you say you want to leave Nigeria, where are you going? You will still remain an ECOWAS citizen. You will still be an African. You will still, occupy a territory that would have been originally in Nigeria. So what he's calling for is a dialogue, is conversation, is a conference around those key issues that divide us. But unfortunately in this country, we hold talks. We've had so many conferences. But in recent times, since the return to democracy in 1999, those conferences do not really yield anything. Remember, the 2005 political conference was sabotaged by the politics of third term. The 2014 political conference by the Jonathan administration, the reports are gathering the dust somewhere in the corridors of power, just because a new government said, we will not look at it because we don't agree. People are now calling for dialogue now, for a renegotiation of the terms of our union. Some people are saying you can't even have a conversation. I'm all for the idea of having a conversation around the key issues. And it's because the system appears to be resisting that opportunity for conversation and negotiation of key issues. That's why perhaps some people are saying, well, if you will not allow us to discuss the terms of the union, equity and justice and fairness, and who is a Nigerian and who should get what, then they would rather leave. But I think the message from Ambassador Babagana KingIbe is a word of caution to say that, look, we can all stay together if we respect each other.
Yes, I could swear.
Well, again, without sounding like a broken record, it's just that many opportunities missed, many promises broken. 2014 confab reports, gathering dust. Actually, maybe the rats in Asorok probably have used them for dinner and lunch, the document. But if they want, I have in my archive the electronic version. We can actually email them back again. You have the Aero 5 restructuring committee report that has as part of the points, point number 12 there being referendum asking people what they would want, just like the way they have it in Ethiopia. Well, again, there are countries that have these things and they have never really put it into test. But at the end of the day, the bottom line remains that there is no way you can hold a people to ransom, and there is no way you can hold a people together just by sheer, I wouldn't say military might, but against their own will. That's called kidnapping. No matter how you.
That I was hearing your voice while he was speaking, because I know you have said exactly word for word what he said.
The same thing
on the show.
Well, remember,
yes.
And I promise you, I haven't spoken to Ambassador KingIbe recently. I should probably rectify that. Yeah. But I guess we agree on this issue. There is no union that cannot be negotiated, including marriage. Take note, Mr. Fenny. Including a marriage. And dissolution and negotiation are two completely different things. You can agree to form a union, but on what terms? The terms upon which you form that union must be based on mutual respect, exactly like he said. Absolutely. Perfectly put.
Absolutely. Rufai, your analysis.
The sad part in our national discourse that we don't bring on the table is that very important part of mutual respect. Until we start to understand that nobody is bigger than anybody in Nigeria.
Exactly.
Then we are not ready for any conversation. And until the fact that the politicians start to understand that Nigeria is bigger than them, we are not ready. It still baffles my mind how a cross-section of Nigerians came together. They decided on a document. Federal funds were spent on that conference.
Billions.
They agreed on a document. And people or the next government is not adopting that document. So we've had those conversations. It's not today. We had some in 95. We had some under Obasanjo. We had some in 2014. We're still going to have more in the future. But the political will to implement those documents is the problem. And where does the problem fall back to? The politicians, that it is only serving.
No, Rufai, no, I disagree. Not the politicians. It falls back On the presidency, those that told you that $1 will equal 1 naira, those that told you that do we want to go back to their promises? Oh, geez. Anyway, let's not get
them now. And when you go back, it goes back to the conversation of what the APC, we forget in a hurry that the APC had a committee for restructuring.
Exactly. I said it before now.
And when they had that committee, resolutions were passed, they talked, they wrote things down, and they said this is the way for restructuring. But the political will to adopt.
Yet they denied their they denied their own document. Is it not only Barawo, Onyoshi, whatever, that would deny his own document? You deny your own document. The signs were there from the beginning. Nobody paid enough attention. When the government came in, the first thing they denied was that they never made any 100 days in office promise. The second one was when they denied the covenant with the people of Nigeria. But when during the campaign, these documents were flying from point A to point B, you knew that those documents were there from your campaign team. Even if you did not agree, not for once did you say that this document did not come from me, that I do not support or sign these things. And people came together, voted at some point. When you now make demand, you promise people that when you do, you come back, we will going to restructure this country, this, that. Then people now ask you. They waited for 6 months. 6 months, come on, to even get your own ministers that will work with you became an impossibility. You are aware now. Now we have 2 ministers that have been sacked since about 2 months now, no replacement. Why must this government be that everybody must become an agitator before a basic and the common thing be done? You minister, not be anybody forced you to sack them. It's not an accident. They didn't die in a plane crash. You relieve them of their duties. Is it too much when they remove A, you put name for B, you go Senate the next day? Why must people agitate? Why? Because these ministers are from states. Those states will now begin to, we've been denied our rights. We don't have a minister from our state, blah, 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 blah. Then the weed smokers that writes presidential speech, the weed smokers, I call them. I honestly, sometimes I want to know what they smoke. I read a statement the other day. I hear, that President Buhari is better than Awolowo, Dr. Nanda Ziki were put together, and that he has. You see, I wish I can have the type of Igbo or ganja this guy smoke. I can have a sip. It's an insult to mention. Sorry, it's an insult to mention these 2 great men in the same sentence with what we have now. It's an insult. Not to talk of when somebody you think he is learned, he has something upstairs, will now say 2 of them jam together. That this thing will have now is better. Maybe DSS watching now what to AQ because I said this thing. But the fact beyond, beneath that is what none of you would ever think. Nation.
Adopted is still a problem. So the politicians should understand that because it favors you today does not mean that you shouldn't start thinking about the future of this country. And that is what has brought us where we are.
Absolutely.
We need to talk, we still talk more, but let's not just talk. Please, let us put action to what we say by adopting the resolutions of our conversation. That's when this country can move forward. Nobody is bigger than anybody in this country. This country is for all of us all.
Well said, Rufai. We'll take another.
It says, I should not insult the vice president. Did I insult the vice president? I didn't even mention the vice president. Or is the vice president among those that smoke something? If the vice president is smoking something, then I want to have a sip of what they are smoking. That's as simple as that. But at the end of the day, honestly, the whole thing is just, I cannot fathom it. That people who are supposed to speak for the president will just open up their mouth and say that the president is better, they love him so much, is better than Awo, the great Awo, the great legend, late Chief Awolowo, that this man is greater than him? Dr. Nanda Azikiwe put together? Haba, have some respect for your ancestors. Eh? Have respect for your ancestors, for Christ's sake. And these guys are just now so they do our brain. Oh. Wallahi. These guys just they do us like caro, as if we're, as if we are just whatever. I found it a little bit. Anyway, that's Nigeria for you. A nation where a nation where people will talk anything, the first thing they will come is to deny it. So why would anybody not believe that government paid money? You all here. People were shot at Lekki. People were wounded. Lives were lost. Shell bullets were seen. Both the Lagos State governor, I didn't ask the army to come. I didn't call the army on. Both the army said, we didn't go anywhere. No be we. They were shooting themselves. Answers protesters, gangsters. They were shooting themselves. No, they are going. They just went for shooting range. Well, anyway, what we want, if our minister is by inclination and name is already lying there, so why wouldn't the why what else do you expect us to do? So let's the continue. Or rather now, if the way the whole nation is now, if I invite the president, he can also be very candid and tell us what and how the nation is doing. And I say to him now, President Muhammadu Buhari, how is Nigeria
The government
doing?
has failed to do its principal duty.
Well, no be my mouth to not hear him. I cannot also repeat what he said. No be my mouth to not hear him. That's what he said, that the government has failed to do its principal duties. And even these duties in doing what? The basic things.
The government
Again,
has failed to do its principal duty of protecting life or property of all beings inside its territory.
No be grammar. Now so we hear. And in the same nation, we hear about 42 people were killed today in Sokoto. Jeez. Hamba. Which kind of wahala be this? Because things are just going. In the words of Kazaure, things are just moving. Not only the economy is going like this, everything is going like this. Now everything.
Our economic is doing like this. It's doing like this. It's blinking, shaking.
Because everything is blinking, shaking. Everything is blinking and shaking. That's simple as that. Everything is blinking and shaking. And those who ought to stabilize the blinking and the shaking.
When my 7-year-old grandson called me and said, Grandpa, tell me the truth. Why did they call you Liar Mohammed?
So it's not me. It's not me. I didn't call him Liar Mohammed, but at least that name, very, 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 very interesting name to bear for a minister. And again, the children are actually pronouncing the name the way it should sound, because obviously that's what it is. That's obviously what it is. People, like I said, when I look at the title of our conversation this evening, and I look at the last part that says Buhari and Atiku and the case of, what is likely to happen probably by the year 2022. And I'm thinking, I know after I read this article, I started thinking to myself, maybe I'm being paranoid, but again, at the same time, it can be forgiven. It's granted because it is very simple. When you no longer have trust, when promises have been broken, time and time again, you begin to be a little bit paranoid. Now, this is an article. This is a news publication from the Daily Trust. And please, people, let's quickly have a look. Let me expand this. Let me actually make it full screen so that you could actually read with me. Let me see if I can actually probably also increase the size so that it will be more legible for you as well. Let me quickly do that. Okay. So I think it's now more legible. People, let's go. The Court of Appeal in Abuja has fixed February 22nd, 2022 for hearing of the appeal seeking to void as in 08, President Muhammadu Buhari's election. And when things sometimes happen, you may hear about obscure names, entities that you may never have heard of before. But in this case, he says, the Incorporated Trustee of the Civil Society Observatory for Constitution and Legal Compliance, SS blah blah blah, is contending that if the court agrees with its submissions, it should direct the inauguration of former President Atiku Abubakar, who came second in the 2019 election, to the office of President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. People, now, you know why I think something is okay. Let me just calm down a little bit. Here, this case is slated for February 2022. Exactly 1 year. Exactly 1 year to the 2023 election. Could it be a plan B of our brothers, our friends, staying put to power? Could it be a plan B, plan that ab initio, knowing that at some point the southern governors could actually wake up as they have woken up now to demand that power will not, should not, shall not return to the South, but that power must, M-U-S-T. They didn't say shall, will, should, anything. No, they said must return to the South in 2022. Could this be that these guys knew ab initio and something may be in the cooking? I'm not insinuating anything. I'm only doing content analysis here. Because when I read this, I thought to myself, okay, for me, this is not just a piece of information, but this is something more than that. Look, a 3-member panel of justices presided by Peter Ige during the hearing directed proper services of court paper on the Independent Electoral Commission, INEC, the All Progressive Congress, APC, and the President and President Muhammadu Buhari. Counsel to the appellants in this matter, Nnamdi Ahiwe, has informed the court that the respondent who appeared during the initial hearing on 14th of January were duly served with the processes and endorsed the back. 14th of January. 14th of January. Now being pushed a year and 1 month, basically 13 months ahead of time. Ahead. 13 months. You know, if I want to begin to play scenarios, in as much as, yes, there was a Supreme Court judgment on the 2019 presidential election. However, there is one area that the court did not deal with, and that is perjury. Perjury, where the president said that the results were submitted to which, when the military came out to say, no, there was no result here that was submitted to us. But again, for maybe wise men, you know, when legal idiots are talking, legal barrel pushers like us, who some will call legal cankerworms. But if you think about deep, there is still a loophole for some abracadabra to be played on Nigerians here. Could that be something that is in the cooking? Now let my imagination run wide a little bit. Could it also be that now in running this, they want to replace the former deputy or rather vice president? Suddenly we hear EFCC writing, ICPC writing, this one writing, everybody. You know, you read things sometimes, your imagination begins to run wide. But let's basically conclude this piece here, which says, here, the civil society has brought the appeal challenging the judgment of the High Court dismissing its earlier suit, where it contended that President Buhari's personal affidavit sworn on 24th of November 2014 at the Federal High Court of Abuja in supporting of his personal particulars contained a false statement under oath, like I said before, perjury, when he averred that his academic qualifications documents are with the secretary of the military board. Oh dear, I can't laugh enough. I can't laugh enough. Nigeria is just a very funny place to live. People, are they taking us for a ride? I do not know. I do not have answers to that, but it's something I'm just bringing it to our attention so that we think about it, maybe think about it deeper. What are they playing with us? Are they planning something with us without, as the later Chief Moshood Abiola would always say, are they planning to cut our hairs? That they want to baba us uh, in our absence. And the reports actually goes further. So for many of you joining me, quickly, I am still Mazezok, and this is still Ginger Media TV. We've been looking at the topic of this evening conversation, which is that the Nigerian, if you're basically joining us, we've discussed that Nigerian government or Nigerian Air Force paid the bandits, according to Wall Street Journal, to buy back the anti-aircraft missiles which they took from the Nigerian army, which I've also said here, if that were to be true, I doubt what the Nigerian army should be doing in the field, in the battlefield, where there is no enemy flying across or flying over them, and what they should be, or rather, why would they go into fighting Boko Haram with an anti-aircraft to the point that Boko Haram was able to capture that. But again, they've come out to deny it. That must be said. And in a poll that is being already done here, you can see that Nigerians, everyone watching what we are doing now, majority, I think about 97% of us actually think, or let me see if I can bring the poll quickly on the screen. You will see that Nigerians actually do not believe the government. The Germans here will say government selber schuld, because now you cause them yourself. So this is the poll here. This is what you've casted here. Do you think government is lying on not paying bandits? And you said 97% of you said yes, they are lying, and only 3%. You guys are troublemakers. You are trying to pay President Buhari back. That's why you basically stopped at 97%. You remember 97% and 5%. So suddenly, you guys are wicked. Suddenly, you you are voting and you stopped at 97%. Okay, oh, I'm not. I'm trying to see if I can get the second, but for some reason, the thing is not coming up anymore. But this 97%, I didn't actually think about it much deeper. But you guys appear to be ahead of the game. That you actually, making a statement by the result of your poll, 97% to 3%. That's what it should be. But if we also remember, that that statement by the president was also mathematically incorrect because 97% and 5%. No wonder. No wonder mathematics was it F9 or P9 or P8? I can't remember. But not be from my mouth. You go here say somebody failed mathematics. If even myself, maths they give me some headache. Eh? When we never finish math, somebody go come say make we do further maths. Who they want further? So anyway, so he's not alone on that. So people, what I'm saying in essence here is that when we look at this case, that something doesn't necessarily sit well entirely here. I mean it, and I mean every single word on this. Now, the NGO is seeking to declare that there is no institution, establishment, authority, or office in Nigeria at all times material to this case known as and called a military board, and as well no person, office, or authority known and called secretary to the military board. So basically, your president. So, oh no. Hey! Oh dear. In fact, your president submitted. Sorry, pardon me, but it's freaking funny. Your president submitted his credentials to an office that does not exist. Well, okay, oh, people, it's unbelievable. Now, the NGO demands that if the court agrees that there is no office called secretary to the military board, it should now make an order nullifying the election and swearing in the third defendant, respondent, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, to the office of the President of the Federal Republic, and order directing the first defendant, respondent, INEC, to withdraw the certificate of return to the office of the President of Federal Republic of Nigeria issued on the third defendant, respondent, President Muhammadu Buhari. So either way, the way you dice this, right? The way, remember, if you want to go back to 2014, many will think, is this why they have been seeing Goodluck Jonathan in the corridors of power? So there is no way you dice this that people will not be suspicious, because there is a lot. People have been a lot of rumors saying that Goodluck Jonathan is going to go into APC in case maybe. So as some people are now saying, in case if this scenario here plays out, he might be a winner. But if he plays out with Atiku, again, who knows? Now, again, and here finally says here, what these are their prayers. An order directing the first defendant, respondent, INEC to, sorry, that's been taken. Basically, when we look at this, and I can only say, I don't want to, not a believer of conspiracy theories, but there are things when you read them, you begin to think, maybe there could be possibilities. You never know. Maybe there could be possibilities. Who knows? Maybe these things could, uh, maybe things could just get out of hand. We never know. We never know. So, everyone, thank you very much once more for joining me. I'm still Mazuzuka. This is still Injinji Media TV. So, if this is your first time of joining me here, please kindly subscribe to this platform and share and like this video. On that note, I will say thank you very much for being part of this evening broadcast. It's a late one. I do not want to keep many of you who are wanting to go to bed. I do not want to keep you waiting. But hey, people, let's try once more and see if we can cast the second vote before we leave. Let me try once more because I don't know why it didn't work the first time. We've done the first vote and we've seen the result. Many of you didn't even give 5%. Now, so quarry the take start. You couldn't even give 5% that you gave in the election that was causing wahala. Now you are giving. Okay, yes, the poll is loading now. So quickly, before you log off, people, quickly, I want you to cast this important poll. To be used in an opinion right up. So quickly cast your poll here. So the questions are. Oh, what's? Hold on. I don't know what's. Okay. Ah, okay. I see what. Okay. Okay. I see. Okay. I see what's happened now. So people, let's. My bad. I think I had more text. So let's cast our vote in the second poll. So quickly, can we cast our vote? Sadly, I cannot cast my vote. So let's quickly cast our vote quickly. If you're if you're watching me live on YouTube, on Ginger Media TV, not on Maz's personal channel, not on Ginger Media TV YouTube, or not on Periscope. So if you're watching me on YouTube, on Ginger Media TV, that's the only place you can. If you want clarity, what it means, and the question is very simple: Do you really want? Sorry, what do you really want for Nigeria? Do you want Nigeria to restructure into ethnic nationalities? You can always change your mind. Where the restructuring will be the the Yoruba nation will be a quasi an independent nation like they have it in Scotland, like they have it in like they have it in the UK. Or do you want? No, I don't want. If I be on your own, anytime I visit you, I'll come with visa. That is total disintegration. Or you want more or less the Aburia Accord, the confederation or confederacy as it may be. So quickly cast your vote. Cast your vote. So how many people? Oh, those that are, geez. Okay, let's leave it. Let's wait for many of you to only 18 votes cast so far. So I think many of you are just basically uh, okay. So cast your votes. 19 votes so far. So we can do better than this. If you're watching from other platforms, you can come to Indian Media on YouTube and cast your votes. So people are casting their votes already in on Facebook. On Facebook, I can see Colin Sebule is casting his vote already. Okay. Onyenimo says, did they pay VAT on the purchase? Purchase of what? Sorry, purchase of the anti-aircraft or what? I don't know. This plan B. Okay, yes. Ken Lord Namadim says, Maz is okay. This is plan B. I remember telling someone that this will happen after the election in 2019. I mean, it's I pray the plan B is not as accurate as the plan B, the crypto master, who predicts if Bitcoin is going to be bullish or it's going to be bearish. So I hope that's not accurate as his own predictions. Oh, the gun. Well, if they paid VAT on it, so if they paid VAT who is going to collect the money then. So, people, on that note, I say thank you very much for joining me this evening. It has been my pleasure to have you this evening, be part of this conversation. Thank you once more, and join us on Thursday, no, on Wednesday, for the global remembrance of comrades who lost their lives, who were wounded in the Lekki incident. In Lekki, everyone, Igbos, Yorubas, Hausas, everyone, people, younger ones were there. And when the security agents came, they violated them all. Lekki stood for the spirit of unity. But sadly, government in their own wisdom, they caused what happened afterwards by the way they imported talks to disrupt what the youth were quietly organizing. Even when that disruption happened, even after the disruption happened, that wasn't enough for them. They now have to invite the thugs in uniform to finish whatever the thugs with machete couldn't do. And the rest, they say, is history. 1 year after, every single plan, every single agreement, even what the president said himself, that they had agreed on the demands, 1 year later, none of those demands has been met. Police salary has not been increased. SARS has not been disbanded. Actually, SARS is back. Where is your SWAT? No. Someone was trying to tell me yesterday, oh no, it's more expensive to rebrand, do this, do this. So that's why you revert to the status quo and you continued where you basically left. It is a sad narrative that the government never take the people serious, even when the people are the backbone, when the people are those who will toil and go vote for them, when the people are those who spend their energy, in most cases, defending them. Yet, we can't do the needful for them. Then you ask myself most times, and I say, how would Buhari, how will he be received after 8 years? He goes back to Castina. Like this. Okay. They still have anti-aircraft missile, Abi. Wow. How would his village people receive him? I hope they don't have juju people in his village, because I don't think they will be happy. On that note, people, I say good night, everyone, and thank you once more for being part of this conversation. Thank you. Join me once more on Wednesday evening as we review 1 year after. Thank you.